Hello again. I'd like to talk today about the claims which proliferate across the internet like fruit flies that black people invented almost everything which makes the modern world what it is, but that they have been airbrushed from history and credit for their work stolen by white people. This is of course attributed to institutional racism and the desire of white people to make black people look inferior. I'm sure that viewers will have seen such things when they browse the internet. Things like this or that black person invented GPS, the internet, light bulbs, mobile telephones, and almost everything else. Indeed, it begins with apparently inventing mathematics and writing in Africa many thousands of years ago. Sometimes, relating to modern inventions, what is supposed to be evidence is shown. For example, patent specifications and so on, or obscure research papers or articles from academic journals. In this way, an alternative history of the world has been constructed in which the whole of Western civilization has been built upon the achievements of black people, which have been stolen from them and appropriated by ruthless whites. I find this aspect of black history both enchanting and also a little sad. It's enchanting because sometimes it's better constructed than other alternative histories which one comes across, television dramas like The Man in the High Castle, for instance. At the same time, I find it sad, though, because it makes those black people advocating it look credulous and childlike, which is not helpful to anybody. How is this fake history devised? It's not hard to see, and one could do precisely the same thing with other minority groups, such as Jews and Asians, or even Methodists. Here's how it works. Most modern technology was not invented by any one person. It is rather an accumulation of many different inventions and of research by hundreds or thousands of people. The internet, for example, began life in the 1960s as an American defence network of computers designed so that if one was destroyed by a nuclear strike, messages could be routed through another computer instead. The internet grew organically from this system in little steps. That system was known as the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. Many people developed things which helped this idea to grow and blossom into the internet as we use it today. It was not invented by one person. If, however, you were to Google inventor of the search engine, the first name which comes up is a black person from Barbados called Alan Emtage. He was a student at McGill University in the late 1980s when he worked with others on a rudimentary indexing system to connect the university to the emerging internet. He certainly contributed to this modest project, but so did many others. He was part of a team. He has, however, been singled out of that team, which also incidentally contained a Jew, and is now celebrated as the man who invented search engines. Now look on the internet for African who invented the internet, and you'll come up with Philip Emeagwali, a Nigerian who had nothing at all to do with inventing the internet. His name is also put forward as a neglected genius, the father of the internet. Don't even get me started on the black man who invented the light bulb, or the black woman Gladys West who seemingly invented the satellite navigation systems which we use in our cars. We can see her in the thumbnail to this video, and in the last few years she has become something of a celebrity. What happens is that GPS systems, the internet, electric lights, and everything else in the world are all the product of endless tinkering and countless patents and papers in academic journals. The patents might typically be called something along the lines of improvements relating to the transmission of digital signals in suboptimal atmospheric conditions. The names of half a dozen people will be on the application, and it might have only the vaguest connection with mobile phones. Or, as in the case of Howard Latimer, the black man rumoured to have invented the electric light bulb, there is a patent in his name, and that of a white guy, for an improved way of making the carbon filaments used in the light bulbs that were invented by Edison and Swan. What you do is scour all those patents and research papers until you find a name which might be African or African American. You can often spot such names and then check up later if the person is black. There's sure to be at least one somewhere if you look hard enough. Once you've checked it out and it really is a black person, then you're in business. You can then wave that patent or research paper around as evidence and claim that a black person is the uncredited inventor of GPS satellite navigation, or search engines, or whatever else you wish to persuade people of. Here's the good thing about this scheme. No black person will argue with you, of course, because they won't see how the trick has been played, and they want to believe that black people invented the modern world anyway. Most white people probably won't understand fully mobile phone technology or search engines either, so they won't be able to contradict you. Those people who know about such things will usually be white, and they'll laugh privately among themselves. But seeing how things are these days, I'm not going to be laughing at a black person publicly. That would be professional suicide. As I say, you could pull the same stunt with Chinese people if you want. And I've seen this done by Chinese people. Chinese authors compile books showing that the Chinese invented the modern world. You can do it with Jews if you want. And I've seen this done as well. I've got books like these on my bookshelves. They make precisely similar claims about Jews using these very methods, and they prove that Jews created the modern world. As I said at the beginning, if you had the time and inclination, you could do exactly the same if you could track down the names of Methodists or Catholics on those papers and patents, and so prove that it was Catholics who invented the modern world. The odd thing is that so many people know that this is fake history, and yet nobody dares speak out about it for fear of being accused of racism. I'll wait now to be accused of racism in the comments here, of course.